And here we go. I don't have anything muted this time. I think I did it properly. We're going to try and intro it correctly for the first time in weeks. But welcome to the Money Pigs Livecast. This is episode 65. This is a Dawn Kate roundtable discussion show about Dawngate stuff, brought to you by MOBA-champion.com. I am Twerp, along with MOBA champion John, Tulse, and the flipping Muzzy. If you were watching his stream earlier, if you don't know what I'm talking about, stick around, because at the end of the show we have a great treat for you if you weren't watching Muzzy's stream earlier. But besides that, in the meantime, we have so much to get to tonight. A lot of stuff going on. We've had the conclusion of a Living Lore vote. We've had a Shaper teased, revealed, hinted at via a GIF. We also have the announcement of Caster Mode is on the horizon and is coming soon TM. And by soon TM, like really soon. Like not like soon, like legit soon. So that's the stuff we're pretty much going to cover tonight, as well as some other things. But you guys just want to say hello for now?
Hello.
How's it going, guys? And I did bring enough for everybody. You just have to get a lot closer than you are now.
Peanut butter and jam for all.
Excellent.
How is everybody doing? How's your week been, gentlemen?
Great.
Everyone doing
Extra
well?
awesome, because I won yet another lore vote.
Yet another.
Ugh.
You're claiming this is a personal victory, Muzzy.
I'm 4 for 4.
Four
I've
for
chosen
4.
right every time.
So I think this was the first one I think Elf got right.
yeah,
right,
because he
'cause-
finally joined
she
me.
did.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's but be that as it may, so the Bandit Hustle did end up winning this week's Living Lore vote, the
Allegedly.
Renzi vote, allegedly, but not without controversy. This was the closest lore vote in history up until this point. We had Bandit Hustle got out to an early lead, but then Waystone went and released an extra lore piece titled, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, but it's Arushiti?
Rushdie.
Arushti?
Rushdie.
So, that would, wow, did the subreddit just change? Did they just change the coloring on it? It looks all gray and weird for me.
No, it's just a dark theme.
Oh, I don't know when that happened, but so yeah, so they released that extra little portion of lore throughout the week to help. I don't know if it necessarily swayed people one way or the other, but it was just kind of to give more information into the two choices. We got a little bit more backstory in that little piece there. But so what that did was it ended up Renzo Dazzle ended up closing the gap and looked like it was pushing ahead. And right at the end there. If you watch Skunkador, I don't know the proper pronunciation of his name, but I like Skunkador. I'm going to keep using that until he corrects me. But he put up a nice little clip of a visual glitch happening right at the end there, where it looked like Bandit Hustle won, and it came up, and then all of a sudden the image was taken away, and Renzo Dazzle was there. So everyone thought Renzo Dazzle was the winner of the Living Lore vote. Everyone woke up this morning, that was the world we lived in, and that was kind of the deal. It turns out, and some people at that point were already calling for like a revote or a recount, which was kind of silly in my opinion, but it turned out to be needed because upon further inspection, Bandit Hustle actually ended up the true winner and is being considered the winner right now, even though Renzo Dazzle had been showing up in the client and whatnot. That was apparently as a result of a bug, and it caused kind of a little snafu today that Waystone ended up having to address. So what do you guys think? Just what were your overall feelings, thoughts, impressions on this lore vote? The fact that it was so close, the fact there was a bit of controversy at the end. Where are you guys kind of standing on all of this?
I don't know.
I think it's where it belongs.
Yeah.
I was really neutral on it. I didn't actually select a Living Lore category this week because I forgot. So like
You
I was like
monster.
really I was like I don't care either way, and then apparently it was like a 0.2% difference. But I mean, it seemed like most people were pretty positively reacting to the news. Like a bug's a bug, it's gonna happen. Like it's not rigged like the League of Legends World Championship brackets. So it's like I don't know. It's like, okay, shit happens. I guess Hustle wins, and that's sort of my really calm reaction to it.
I just hate that I had to deal with so many Zeri gladiators with Renzo tacticians in my rankings. That was pretty terror.
Yeah, I guess it'd be really bad if there was like a high tier like meta pick as like one side of the living lore and the other side is like predators area only or something really dumb. Like that'd be sad.
Yep.
I'm actually, that's an interesting point you bring up there. To where, do you think that I mean, the votes, the whole living lore thing isn't really, it shouldn't really affect gameplay, but are you finding that even up there and at the top tier, are you finding like you're just really getting a lot of very specific teams because of it?
I
Yeah.
don't think it's necessary. First of all, the fact that you're putting me up there is, I mean, I'm
I think you
like
meant
two
Tulsa.
rungs up the ladder higher than you. Both John and Tulse are significantly higher up than me. But I think it's one of those things that I can only really speak to like my personal experience. It's one of those where it's like, oh yeah, Renzo's in the living lore. I haven't played Renzo in a while. I kind of want to play Renzo, and I did that. So I kind of like that aspect of the living lore, and I think it's something that's like, I don't know, when ranked comes out, maybe it'll be one of those things where living lore really only affects like normal games or something. I don't know how they're gonna handle that sort of thing, but I don't want that to be the case. I want the living lore to just kind of be there, and if you want to pick them, do it. I'm sure it's gonna. This kind of falls in the category of the people who say they like early surrender because they'll get more lore votes. Like that's just kind of silly. I don't think it's like as rampant of a problem as people make it out to be. Sure, it might happen a game here or there, but like if anything, they were probably already losing, and now they're like, this is our cop out to get out of the game and make our team surrender earlier. Like I don't really take that 100% to heart. So I'm sure if it comes to the point later on where there's a ranked system and people are picking shapers involved in the living lore and they're perceived to be out of the meta, yeah, you're going to have people arguing about that and being like, oh, and raging at each other probably. But my kind of point of view with that whole thing is those people, if they're inclined to rage at something as stupid as that, they're probably going to rage at something stupid anyway. So
Yeah.
why even bother considering it?
Yeah, my only problem, because I remember back when it was the Fenway lore vote with Kindra, I had like a 4-man queue and I was the one guy on their team. And then they picked like Fenway and all that, and then they just did really poorly in lane. And because when I play solo queue, I'm like full tryhard and I really, really want to win. And what happens is I lose and they're just like, oh, I don't care, I'm good queue. And I just did this for the votes. And now I can get to my next game really, really fast and get more votes. I don't care. And I'm just like, oh, I waited 30 minutes in queue for this kind of game.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's totally not worth it for me.
It's silly too because like those guys might early surrender and get like an extra 15 votes, and unless it's like this week, which is the closest ever, like, it's not even gonna matter. So it's like ruining games for really no gain.
But here's my thing with your point, Tulse, because I think you bring up a good point, and it's one of those things where like the higher level guys, like when they get salty, it's because you have these long queue times when you have a bad experience in game after a long queue time. I mean that's it's frustrating as all hell, and I can totally relate to that. But my kind of point is like you were gonna get matched with those 4-man queue anyway, and it's like they could have ruined your game with a 4-man pred strat that wasn't going to work. Like, I think it just so happened to be the lore, and that's the easy scapegoat. But it's like, I feel like the living lore didn't get you matched with that 4-man queue. And do you really think it would have been different without the living lore? You know what I mean? If you really break it down and think about it.
But if I break it down, it would be I lost that game because the living lore promoted lower tier shapers. And because of that, they were matched against high tier shapers. They just lost the lane like super hard. And then I just ended up losing. I was like, okay.
No, it's a fair point. I think it's something that I really haven't thought about until just now when we're kind of talking about it is like, do we want to see living lore carry over into the ranked system that will show up one day? What do you guys think about that? Should it count towards it? Should ranked be its own little perfect little crystal clear clean area where that kind of stuff can't taint it anyway?
I think it should be separate.
I think it should be separate.
What do you think, John?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think I might be with you.
I want to play ranked and participate.
Yeah, where do you go then? Like, I think that'll be my case where I have time to play Dawngate. I want to play ranked, but I want to participate in living lore. Do I have to now not play ranked?
Maybe no bonuses. So like every ranked is just worth whatever you're voting for, but like no bonus votes for picking that shaper.
That's kind of a decent idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why your games couldn't count. I mean, you're just playing the video game. You should still get your vote. I guess just know like let's say there's a particular patch where the living lore vote is mage mage mage, and then that promotes your team going triple mage and like no jungler, and like who cares, man, we're doing it for the living lore, man. Like I could certainly see that
Yeah.
be
I feel
that's
like if you win or lose, depending on if you win or lose, you get a vote if it's ranked. So let's say you pick like Varian or something, and Varian is not the living lore shaper, and you win, then you can pick for the living lore shaper. So
yeah.
like if you win, then
Oh,
you get
that's a
3
good way to.
votes. And that way you'll never like have to deal with the problem of low meta picks. And then you can go into normal games, and if you pick the living lore shaper, then you get bonus votes on top of winning or losing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to simplify the problem, but I feel like the people who are hardcore into ranked and solo queue care generally maybe less about getting those 5 extra votes as they do winning.
Yeah.
And I imagine they care more about not having their games. Let's just sky's falling. Let's use the word ruined. We'll use the game ruined. They don't want their games ruined by a living lore person who's locking in Renzo every single game. So.
But there definitely needs to be something there for the people that want to play ranked and want to participate in the living lore and don't have time to do both. So that's why I'm kind of apprehensive of being like, no, living lore can't count for rank. But it's like, I want to do that too, man. Like a little bit, at least
Yeah.
something. It's like I like to. It just adds a little something extra that I'm just like, well, I want to participate in all the things Dawngate has to offer. I only have so much time, so I want my when rank comes out and I want to play ranked, like that's it. I want to play ranked and I want to still do living lore stuff. So why can't I do both? So as long as there's something there for people like that, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they are keeping it in mind, obviously. If they decide that the impacts and the trolling could happen regardless, and they want to keep it, like, as long as it's considered and thought about, I won't be too upset. So, as long as they consider it, at least, like the implications of which.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do you guys think that the Waystone handled this snafu well? I mean, they came right out and addressed the issue,
Right.
and were like super apologetic about it. And we're talking, they always talk about transparency, and they were being very transparent with everything that happened. I mean, I think it helped. They nipped it in the bud, and it helped prevent something like this. And
Dude, those guys make fancy graphs. Like I must be like too old now because like when I make an Excel graph, it's like white background with like a red box. These guys are like 3D. They got lighting. It's amazing graphs of the Renzo votes or whatever. So what's his name? RS Flux did the same thing with matchmaking. They're like, here's the prettiest graphs you'll ever see. So I don't know.
Graph
Props to
masters.
that.
I heard
Yeah.
right click is a good button to use in Excel, dude.
Whatever. I haven't done that since school, and that's a few years ago. So
That's
if that's
true.
standard, whatever. But as a coder, I kind of wish they'd like go into detail of exactly what caused the bug. But I mean, that's just a personal curiosity.
Well, Paper Crane's here. I'm not sure if he's allowed to comment on it, but he's here.
Yeah, he said something
he's-
about the snapshots being wrong, but like you know, I'm just curious, like what happened? That's all.
Yeah, actually, so something about the living lore that I think is pretty damn interesting is the fact that everybody gets so into it. We know that much, but we are essentially choosing a short direction. It's kind of like a split. It comes back to where they intend it to go. I'm imagining, like they said in the Urushti pros that at the very bottom they said that they're going to, Zeri and Renzo are still going to spend some time together. They're still going to go on their mission, their secret mission. So it sounds like, well, we're just getting to choose what happens until then with those people. So I think that's really cool. And some people think that you actually cannot create a deep story with a system that is like this, that is
thinks
chosen
that?
by the players. And
Yeah.
that was actually posted on Reddit, and I completely disagree. I think that we've gotten still an incredibly deep story, even with us messing it up as we have. So I just posted that because that was put on the Reddit, and I thought that was a pretty interesting comment. I think everybody here or everybody on the lore does a really great job of making it awesome and deep either way that we choose.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to if they were trying to do a 1 day turnaround in the lore and just immediately be like, okay, this voted, let's pump some stuff out really quick and do them every 2 days. Like, yeah, obviously the quality of that would be pretty low,
Hmm.
but thankfully the way they organize it and it's a reasonable length of slowness versus great content. Like 3 or 4 weeks go by and you get an amazing skin, and it's like based on the choice that you picked, and then the story as well, like the audio log they did of Reyna and Zalgus, like I thought that was pretty well done. Like I haven't seen them come up with anything that I felt was bad, so I think a
Right.
criticism saying that having players choose how a story takes place is not going to work seems a little like it seems like a cop out to me.
Hmm. I think that people who are naysayers of the system, or rather of the possibility of it actually still creating a deep story, I think it's because they haven't figured out how to do it yet. And I think Dawngate has done a pretty good job of filling that role. And so
Right.
I just can't agree with anybody who says that it's not possible. We've
Well,
gotten pretty deep lore here, and it's been awesome.
for me, like that criticism just seems like it's almost like a weird jealousy or something. Like, I mean,
Right.
obviously not every lore has to be a choose your own adventure, but to say like you can't do it because it makes a inferior product, I think is a little catty and a little silly. So
Hmm.
like that post was
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Yeah, it was
I,
definitely interesting.
I think it depends on the writers, like the mind of the writer himself. If I think if the writer plans sufficiently for both paths will be equally good, no matter what.
Hmm.
Because like storytelling is always about the path that each protagonist takes
Hmm.
and what they hope to achieve. So as long as both paths are equally good, I think it's totally fine. Just depends on how they actually write it and how the story unfolds.
Yeah. What I find particularly interesting is the first living lore vote we got was a massive change. Like characters go in this direction or characters go in that direction, and like that to me kind of sucks a little bit because we lose out on a potentially really cool story where they go in that
Right.
direction. Whereas this one, it's like how does this event take place while the story, the grander story that they're crafting, is they can still meticulously craft like a really good overarching story. It's just this particular scene in the movie of Dawngate or the story of Dawngate. This 5 minute chunk happens differently depending on whether you choose option A or B.
Right.
And like a lot of people said, it was less compelling because the impact was less. But like I prefer that because you don't lose out on actual
Right.
stories.
Exactly. I would like to say that there was also a post on the Reddit asking for multi-choice, multiple choice. And instead of just two, what if it's a tri-direction? Like, what if it could go this way, or this way? And I don't know that. I think it's difficult enough to do it split by twos. I don't know that splitting it by threes is going to be. I don't know that that would work, as quickly because they do have a turnaround time, regardless of it being like what 2 weeks later. Oh, fruit! Look at that. Now I'm jealous. I still got peanut butter and jelly. But yeah, so I think that it would be a bit more difficult, and I don't expect or even need them to do that. Just the fact that they're doing a split path and reconverging, I think is awesome. I think that's the way to go, as opposed to like what John was saying the first time, where they just was like, you're going this way or this way, and those are your only options, and they will change the story forever. Maybe if they do that every now and then, that's cool. But I mean, they got to have things planned way ahead of time to keep this flow up. So it's for me, splitting and remerging into where they are happy with continuing from is a great way to do it.
Well, I think there can be levels of these lore votes too, and I don't necessarily think you can never get to a point where you can have more than two options. There could be a situation where a group of shapers come together and they're deciding on who's going to infiltrate the city, and
Hmm.
your options are any one of these shapers. And I think you could have a situation like that because regardless, the crux of what's going to happen is still going to happen. A shaper is going to infiltrate this thing, and now it's just, having Renzo infiltrate something is going to be a lot different than saying Viridian infiltrate. So you're just going to see how that person goes about it. So, and you can have levels of lore where you have, big moments where it's knife in the dark, hammer in the sun, and you can have kind of not as big moments where it's like, should Zeri go with, Renzo or sneak away with Kagen for a little bit, because she's still going to do the same thing. We're just getting like this little window of a scene that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I think you can have lore that has value to it, different levels of value, and I think that can help. I think Waystone can help, identify like, hey guys, this is a turning point in the story. What you decide here will impact, the way the story goes. And I think primers and things like that, that could be interesting and something to consider in the future.
What if two shapers were fighting, and then you have super short lore votes where you choose what they do, and then like their HP is like shown,
like character battles?
Yeah, so they're character battles, but the votes only last for like 1 hour each. And then at the end of the interval, or when the shaper dies, then, not dies, but like faints, then the story changes. Right? Yeah.
Well, the only thing I would say about that is, yes, that sounds so fun, and I would love to do that, but you also don't want to exclude people who are, let's say, working or in a different time schedule than everybody else. So you have to almost give them a full weekend in order for everyone to feel like, they weren't pushed out of a vote.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
You could do it if you did like 5 votes within like a day, and like shit happens. You might be working during this vote, but you get this one instead.
Right.
Some variants to that would be cool.
Because like shaper battles and things like that, or like character battles. Like if you've ever been on like game FAQs, like they used to do those like giant, massive character tournaments from all these different games, and everyone would be voting on stuff like that. Yeah. I used to get really into that when I was like in high school. I thought those were like, I was like so in on those games. Like, no way Cloud would lose to Mario. Like, no effing way, bro. He's got a big sword. What's Mario gonna do? Shoot fire at him? Well, Cloud could just use materia and kill everybody. I don't even care. But so like those kinds of events could be really cool. Something that like takes place over a weekend. You get to a point in the storyline where it's a big showdown, and it's like, all right, all the characters kind of pair off and fight each other like in an anime, and we could help be a part of that as it goes on. I mean, that would be a really cool thing, like over like a weekend long event, something to get the people hyped about.
Yep. One more thing, just going back real quick, the people who are naysayers of the system and say that you can't develop a deep story, look at Telltale Games. They're doing exactly this, but on a constant basis within, a small period of time. Sure, it's only one person, but Telltale Games is making it so that you can choose, do I kill this guy or not? And granted, that can change the story very drastically. They still do not have enough space on a disc or a download or whatever. They have to keep it relatively small. They have limitations of time to create each episode. So they're not going to go so far off that it branches like 50 times. They're going to bring it back together at some point. And so if Telltale Games can make an absolutely amazing deep story based on your decisions and still get you going down the path that you want them, or that you want to go down, I think that it's continuing this way well. And I think you could do it in an hour, like Tulse and Twerp are saying. I think that could definitely happen.
I liked what this guy in chat. I just lost it. I was scrolling up, but he's like a progress bar going upwards this time, where it's like, votes for this person increment bar A, and votes for this person increment bar B, and whatever one fills up first is a choice. Like, a different way of presenting
That's a
the
speed
vote.
One, right?
Yeah, it'd be like,
Well, then you'll really have people being like FF, so we can get more lower votes in.
Maybe not.
Right.
Maybe not.
Option shot down.
Yeah, you don't want a cheesed system. No loopholes.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Story guy in chat, worst idea ever. I tried. I tried. I liked it. I liked it.
Well, I mean, it is a good idea, but you just know people are like scumbags at their core and will abuse any system they can just because.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is the dream, though, stuff like that. Like, I mean, all that kind of stuff is really cool. I mean, I'm continually impressed and always kind of taken aback by how important the lore has become in this game. I mean, we saw it at the last lore vote, but even like this one today, like when the results were in, like the top 10 threads on the Reddit were regarding the living lore. And even this, something like as simple as like Zeri going with Kagen or Renzo, like it's something that's kind of insignificant in the long run. She's going to have relationships with both characters regardless, but it's so funny to see how the community, and I'm sure like the Waystone guys have to be like head over heels about it, because I mean even myself included, like the way we've all kind of latched into this lore and like it matters to all of us. Like I think they're really killing it with this lore system, and it's something that I never thought people would really get into, but it's continually exceeding my expectations. All right, what do you guys think about like the future, like lore, like just lore in a MOBA, kind of in a general sense? Because like League of Legends went really hard with their lore in the beginning, or at some point in their development, and then they kind of went away from it. And then I heard rumors over the past week or whatever recently that they were thinking about bringing it back, and it's almost like so is like what do you guys think about stuff like that? Is that it? Can the lore help the game grow and vice versa? Like, is that something
Definitely.
that Dawngate can totally latch onto and be like, well, look how awesome of a system we have. Like, here's a big selling point if you like storyline.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to take this the wrong way, but I think that the casual, not casually as in like doesn't like the game, but like the non-competitive type of players love lore a lot, and those are the type of players that you want in your game. Those are the lifeblood of the game. Those people are going to spend money and they're going to play a lot and they're going to tell their friends. Like the hardcore community is always going to be smaller, so like when they hit lore and they knock it out of the park, I think it has a really good chance of just growing the game. Whereas in the MOBA genre, if you're not League of Legends, Dota, or Smite, you don't if you don't have that kick, then your casual community is going to be tiny and your game will die within a year. So like I think it's extremely important, and I think they've been pretty successful.
I think of lore as something that helps like gather new players, because if I look at Dota has like no lore. It's literally just Dota, and this is the game, and like here you go play it. But then I feel like lore is something that captivates new audiences. Like stuff like comics, everyone loves comics. So as you read more comics, you kind of just want to get to know the game even more, and maybe even just play it for longer. So yeah.
I'm really surprised they don't have the actual Dawngate Chronicles in the client, like accessible.
Yeah. They should have a link.
I'm really surprised.
Don't they have a link to it?
Oh yeah, that lore.
They have a link to it.
Yeah.
They have a link to it, but I'm saying like it should be your one solution. I think it would just bring everything together more. I mean, nobody wants to click more. Yeah.
Right, you can't browse the Chronicles from page 1 to page N in the client. You have to open up a browser. So,
yeah, it's more clicks.
But I know some hardcore fanatics of the lore, like Laments, like he's all sad now because he's like, oh, the prose, it's gone. But like to be honest, like the amount of people that would read those novels versus the amount of people that will read a webcomic that can be consumed in 10 seconds 3 times a week, like it's obviously a much more effective medium. I mean, I think it's kind of, it does suck for those guys to get really deep into it, but for the average Joe, like the 4 of us, I would say, like we're gonna get a lot more out of a comic than prose.
I have personally. I mean, that's just being honest about it. I got nothing against the writing. I think it's incredible. It's just like it's too much for me. I need pictures and short blurbs for my short attention span and my adult ADD.
Right. Exactly.
Give me easily digestible bits and pieces, please. Thank you.
Yep.
Just like Gasty likes his hot dogs cut up for him when he's eating. He needs like easily bits and pieces, digestible, easy, not too much.
Historica 14 says, I tricked someone into playing Dawngate using the Chronicles, got him reading the comic, and he was like, oh my god, I love this character. I was like, hey, wouldn't it be great if you could play that guy? That's pretty good. That's good to hear.
It's a nice hook. And going back to like kind of what League was doing with their lore in the beginning when they did that Ionia versus Noxus thing, like Dawngate has a perfect system set up for, maybe having some sort of competitive events set around the lore as well. I mean, in the future, I don't know what that could be, but we could. Yeah. I mean, that's something that I thought was really cool, and I was kind of sad when League stopped doing those events like that. Like we could have these big battles that take place that maybe we could watch with this newly announced caster mode that might dictate
the bots
a moment
the Living
in
Lore
the lore.
Bot game.
We could have a Living Lore bot game. I would watch the shit out of that. I would be cheering on my bots so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there was a
Salty box.
weekly match that was like this week's version of the lore, I'd probably get bored pretty quick. But like,
No, but special
you know,
events.
yeah, throwing that stuff in. I mean, that's all ideas, right? That's like throwing shit at the board, see what sticks, and like go for it. You know.
So I realize, guys, we haven't even actually gone over this we've done living lore, but we haven't gone over the
the Chronicles. Yeah, go ahead, Muzzy.
So I just pasted that in there real quick. This we can go through this pretty quick because there's really not much to it. Michaela happens upon this girl in the last one and uses her shaping abilities to smash the lock. The girl is clearly a little delirious, but very calm. Knows that she's being saved, which is really nice. She seems pretty relaxed, and Michaela is saying, "Let's take her to the surgeon." Apparently, she needs surgery, which I don't see that, but she has blood on her face. But I didn't know that would be hers. It could have been anybody's, but apparently she needs to go to the surgeon. So there you go.
There's
And
blood all over
her
the
name's
place,
Hedda.
but a lot of
there's
people
blood,
are
exactly.
a lot of people are speculating due to the way the frames are shot that like she's missing her arm, ish maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It very much looks like she's at least from the elbow down. If you look on Chronicle page 67, panel 5, it very much looks like a limp half arm. It doesn't look like a sleeve so much because like it's pretty straight, but it's like straight only halfway down.
Right.
So
Also,
it
if you
was
look
like
at the second one, it looks like it's torn cloth or something at her shoulder.
I mean maybe that's just inconsistent.
So here's the question. Actually, in the next one too, it looks pretty torn. It looks like there's a hole there. But here's the question: was her arm taken off by Petrus?
Obviously,
that's what I was thinking. So
yeah, Petrus
right.
is
So
the villain.
so that he could experiment growing her an arm, or did he have to start from somebody else's arm in order to create his new arm? That's the creepier version. So I'm wondering what's happening there.
We will see. Maybe on Wednesday.
We'll see more of Heta. That's it, guys. That's it for that. What else we talking about here today?
Well, we had kind of a Shaper reveal, kind of a tease hint. When Waystone posted a GIF of the hey Matt, why are you so good at blank 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 series? But,
which are awesome.
Yeah, I love them so much.
They're
so
great.
Good. And this one was great too. This was like a gameplay version of one of their vines, but it's Shy Guy on Kindra walking into a bush and face checking it late in the game, and he's just walking into a 5-man ambush. Muzzy has the link in chat. And,
you see how much health he has and how fast it goes away?
Annihilated. But the most interesting takeaway from this clip, and it had to have been intentional, was they snuck in what appears to be a new Shaper in that
the Slayer.
In the clip, and it looks like a giant beetle person or something. So we haven't heard any official thing about this new Shaper. We just know that it's coming. I imagine this will be the next Shaper released, and when we get a reveal, we'll know more about abilities and whatnot. But just based off what we've seen, what people have been talking, what have you guys heard through the grapevine about the new Shaper? What do you think? What are you expecting? Let the speculation begin.
Somebody did an incredible breakdown where they showed like pixelated beetles like flying around the screen, and then his animation as he charged in, it wasn't like running. It looked like he was like using ability to go into Kindra. So like that was the speculation was some sort of beetle aura and some sort of charging in ability. So that's the speculation so far.
All I know is he's got a good chunk of health. I'm assuming bruiser or tank. What do you guys think about that role-wise? Since what have we had lately, and what haven't we had, and where do we need to fill in?
We haven't had a tank in a while.
We have not. So
I'm thinking, and plus, like, I just see something giant, and I'm like assuming it's a tank, just based off that.
For clarity purposes, you would never want to build a mage that's like this giant armored beetle, and it's like JK. Actually, it's the spell slinger. He's got the best fire attacks in the land. Like, it's pretty. If it's not a tank, I don't know, do something.
Yeah. It's probably a tank, just based off of the kit. It probably has like CCN and gap closer, so it kind of has to be a tank or a bruiser. But because of all the bruisers that came out recently, it's probably just a tank. I kind of wish there was like a tanky mage, though.
Oh
like
yeah,
magic dealing
I
tank.
have over 500 games played as Mordekaiser. Like, give me that shit, man.
Hoi,
Like,
hoi, hoi,
put
hoi, hoi.
John's inner Brazilian.
Mhm.
definitely. I
Kaiser.
used to play AP Jungle Mordekaiser. That was what I did.
Wow.
That must have worked
Yeah.
out really well for you.
Yeah, balls of
No.
steel there, buddy.
Ball something to steal.
Balls
Anyway,
of
but yeah,
steel.
that a melee tanky mage type thing is like Rumble Mordekaiser. It would definitely be really cool. I'm hoping that's on their to-do list, but I doubt this guy's gonna be. This guy just looks like a straightforward like tank guy. So
Yeah.
what the fuck?
What?
Yeah, I know Alucard was choking, but okay, all right. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Desecrator is kind of a tanky mage, but with all of his CC, he's not a
He
mage.
doesn't play in your face.
Yeah,
He
he's
plays
not.
like a mage.
Yeah, he plays like a mage, not like a tank. You have to build in specific ways and do things, but
Yeah.
I like what you're talking about, John, as far as like a Mordekaiser kind of Rumble type mage. I don't think we're getting it this time. I think, like you said, I think this guy's going to be much more of a straight up tank. I think it's kind of a good thing though, because just kind of in general, it seems like the tanky tacticians we're seeing them less and less, and it's all about those burst mage tacticians. So maybe the infusal of new blood, as far as a new shaper is concerned, will help reinvigorate the melee tacticians. What do you guys kind of think about the state of melee tactician, tank lane tacticians right now? Are they just completely eclipsed by the Amaranths, King of Masks, and Sakaris of the world?
If you'll allow me a moment to complain, this is something I was talking or thinking about earlier today. Is like a lot of the recent shapers have had such a ridiculously low cooldown poke, like Ashabel, Sakari, even
Yep.
Basco's ability spamming. And I'm missing one more test with her Q spam. It's like the laning phase has just the APM has just gone up so far, so fast because a lot of the new shapers, everyone wants to play new shapers, is just like you have to put your tap dancing shoes on, and it's gone to the point where I don't know, it's like almost a little too spammy. So
I feel like every lane phase now is basically an ARAM game in League of Legends. So on one side they can spam more than the other side and has a higher percentage of hit chance, just wins. And
Yeah.
because of the limitations put on the range for melee tanks or like melee bruisers, or the fact that they have to be in your face and they would take a lot of damage on the way in and on the way out, it's just like that's all there is to it. It's pretty sad.
yeah, it is sad. I mean, are you happy if you say a melee tactician when you're playing a carry?
The thing is, a lot of melee tacticians, they have a lot of very, very good engage. So right now the meta that is shaped is that the junglers are usually the people who engage fights because their kit just allows them to. But you can't really put those junglers into the lane because that would mean they would take too much poke. And the whole reason that these junglers are good in the jungle is because first off they get the levels to 6 relatively safe, and they won't take a lot of lane damage. Like they take damage from like the jungle creeps, but that's basically nothing in comparison to how much poke you would take until level 6 in the lane phase. And just because of that, it just makes you feel so bad. Like you want to do stuff, but you're worried about your HP because you keep getting poked down, and then you still want to do stuff because you have like this awesome ability that will turn the fight for you, but then you hesitate too long and then you die. And that's kind of how melee bruises work, except for Mara. Mara's OP.
Yeah, but she's like extraordinarily high mobility in the laning phase though, with all her trees. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't have to run straight at you like say a Cerulean would pre-6. She's got a little more options. I noticed like lately I used to love playing Nisa like way back in the day when she was like the queen of poke, but now I tried her out this week and I was like, wow, my poke is shit now. Like it's nothing compared to who's new. I'd be really curious to see what Nisa's telemetry is showing. Like it almost, to me, the 3 games I played of her this week, I felt like she was in drastic need of a buff.
Buff Nisa,
Wow.
is it finally time?
As a tangent.
Like years
Apologies.
later, is it time to finally buff Nisa if she's just been consistently nerfed since release? Where's Beyonce when you need him?
She was even nerfed like in the most recent patch.
Yeah, she
like,
was.
reducing her Q from 120 to 100.
So okay, so we're on this melee tact thing. I don't want to go off into Nisa land right now. So what do you guys think? What can we do, or what would you like to see done? How can we make melee tacticians a little bit more viable?
Melee tacticians a little bit more, but
I mean, they
Or
get the
Vim?
bonus Vim if they get the
Or
melee
Vim.
hit off, but if you try and get that melee hit off and you're in a double range lane, like you're gonna take so much harass, like Tulsa was saying, like it's not gonna be worth it. You're gonna become gun shy. I mean, as someone who tries to play melee tactician, like it's an absolute nightmare, and I see why people just refuse to do it at this point and would rather play the range poke. So, what can be changed to fix that?
well, to be honest, right now I feel like if you get into the position where you can literally sit your butt on enemy carries or even enemy mage or range tacticians in the lane, you can basically win. Because I had a game yesterday when I was playing on Arena, and I got like I strung in really well good trades, and we basically like I was laning against Amina Ferris, and the person I was laning with, I had a Nissa and I was Reyna, and we actually won that lane phase. And I feel like if melee tacticians get a lead in lane, it's very frustrating to play as, especially if you're a ranged tactician, because there's very little you can do after they get super tanky. Because right now there are two builds for ranged tacticians. It's either to go tanky as well to match the tankiness of normal tanky bruisers. I mean tanky tacticians, or you go full DPS. So you just pray that you kill them, but that usually only works when you're ahead. I still feel like the only thing you could really do as a melee tactician is to get your dancing shoes on. If they had to change anything, I don't want to touch base HP regen because that was really boring to play against, because it simply meant that your poke did no damage at all. Well, it did do damage, but it didn't stay, so it didn't stick.
Well, what if it was? I don't know if this would work, but if as a melee tactician, if you got a hit off, you would gain, 5 regen per 5 for 2 seconds, and then it would go away, like something
I think
nominal,
that's-
kind of like. Go ahead.
I think that's better. Like anything that affects regen and stuff like that, I think would be better as a Spirit Stone versus like
On the
I
roll.
firmly
Right, okay.
believe that roll should be Vim only, and that's it.
Gotcha.
Maybe XP,
Okay.
I guess, since it does exist
Well,
as Predator.
it heals you as a jungler, so
Yeah,
Does it?
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god. I
So
did
that's
not
why
know that.
that's why I said that. I was like, well, if junglers can have it, maybe it's an accepted thing.
That's
But
But
baloney.
maybe it's something
Yeah,
like
'cause you're
John
like
said though.
10%.
Maybe it is something as simple as more spirit stone options. Like I feel like we have all
Right.
these different types of spirit stones, and you really only see like 5 of them get used. So, I mean, not that the answer is more spirit stones, but maybe ones that do different things, or maybe. With regard to HP regen, maybe you just get a bonus of it as a melee tact in the same way you get the Vim bonus. Maybe you just get a little boost to your HP regen, or I don't really know what the answer is off the top of my head. I think I got to think about it a little more, but but it's like Tull said too though, because when you're behind against the melee lane and they can just
just
constantly
go
engage and
terrible.
rush your face, and your only hope is to outdamage them, but you can't because they're too tanky.
Do-
What's the answer then? I kind of like,
Do-
like
do you
Mars is
guys
saying
see a
too, a
lot of
conviction
Warden?
like passive would be dope, but it might be overpowered.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys do you guys face a lot of tacticians who run Warden?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty common.
I think it was
Warden is
Lockhart.
OP.
Yeah, Lockhart said something like, I think a good start to deal with range versus melee attack sustain would be having Warden provide less of a shield for range shapers, or have it increased for melee shapers.
But then you're kind of
What-
shoehorned into picking Warden, and I like running Hoplite.
Sure. I mean, but then everybody says that you have to run Duelist or Hoplite in the jungle, but not everybody does, and and you can perform just as well. I think they're fairly nominal at that point. Like it's not. Yeah, but maybe you have it regenerates faster if you're melee. So you have a chance to go in and try. Oh, it didn't work. Back out. Oh, now I see something I can go in and try to do. Maybe it's something like that. Because I still don't feel that you'd be shoehorned.
Right. Well, the only improvement I would make for melee tactician, I really like playing melee gladiators now so much more than any role in the game. Like that mini game of consuming your passive and keeping it under lockdown is like really fun. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy, but like I love playing it. So I almost wish that as a melee tactician where your procs aren't always guaranteed every 5 seconds, if you could somehow cash them in similarly, that would allow you to play more defensively. And it's not actually regenerating your life, but it would be giving you like fake regeneration by making it such that you wouldn't have to go into poke range, and then you could consume maybe a bit of your Vim a little later. Because I do think that regen is more of an issue, and getting poked down does suck. I just don't want to give them too much for free. You still have to work for it, I guess, by catching it in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if tax just really like? I mean, most of the poke comes from. Would you say most of the poke comes from magic damage, mages?
No, it comes from auto attacks.
Yeah, it's the auto attacks. Because they
auto
auto
attacks?
attack you
Okay.
3 times as you try to close the gap.
Right.
They'll
okay.
attack you once, and then your warden's gone, and that's when you're
Gotcha.
coming in. And if you commit
Right.
to going in, you take 3 more auto attacks guaranteed. If the other dude just
So
walks
what if
in
it was? What if there was a stone more like the passive from preservation then?
Yeah, I
Where-
mean the
where
thing that
reduces your,
it
like,
scares
a
me.
reduces on the way in, but then if you're trying to leave and you're getting shot, well, that's too bad. You've already consumed 5 charges or however many charges that
I feel
you
like
want.
that'll be OP in team fights.
Yeah, it would. I mean, if they got focused down, absolutely.
Because I just imagine a jungler running that, and then your 2
Yep.
supports are running that, and they just
Yeah.
bum rush your 80k, and
Yeah,
then your
then they
80k
can't do
can't
anything.
even attack it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. No, it's true. Yeah, it's a really difficult balance. I mean, props to Waystone for getting it to as balanced of a state as it is without too many issues.
I want to see like a statistic on how many melee tacticians actually proc their auto attack for 40 gold versus the range for 20 gold.
The
Right.
only time that ever happens for me is if I'm like in a brush and they don't notice me, and I'm like, "Bop, give me that."
Yeah,
40."
level 1.
I
That's
know,
the only
it-
time I ever get the 40.
This is YOLO and you check
I mean,
that
unless
bush.
you're Renzo. If you're Renzo, it's a hell of a lot easier. You stun, you walk up to him, you shield, so then you trade better, you hammer and auto.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you don't time it right, yeah, your
Yeah.
Oh,
stun
no,
gets
you
the
take,
proc.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's
The only
true.
way
The
to do
stunning
it
can
is if
take the
you toss
proc.
up the shield and you walk forward, and then that's like a huge telltale sign
Yeah.
that you're just gonna
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
And if you put the shield on yourself, they just go for the other dude that you're supporting.
Yeah.
And
What if the melee shapers? I mean, this might not help in the other, but it just in Vim game, like melee shapers. What if they get the 40 Vim no matter what? Is that OP then?
It depends,
It
right?
depends on
Like,
if they have a
you-
attack with low cooldowns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can play something like Reyna, and
Yeah.
that'll be like cash money.
Yeah.
It's
She's got
uh,
pretty decent poke.
And
yeah.
that's cash.
Well, okay. Well, what if it's just the melee ability? Because it is kind of silly. It says melee attacks that do 40, but an ability that occurs in melee range doesn't
Yeah,
give you 40.
that's what I'm-
Renzo's hammer should give you 40. Reyna's
Yeah.
shield should give you 40. Cerulean's
Right.
whirling strike should give you 40.
If it was just a strictly range check, that would be pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like
I kinda-
that
kinda feel
that
like-
melee bonus doesn't feel great. I feel like they could just.
It feels
get rid of
tacked
it.
on, if any.
Do
You know.
something different. Maybe in the progression update.
Maybe if you just split it and you make it like you get 20 gold if you just auto attack them, on top
Yeah.
of like if you did otherwise. So if you're in range and you still haven't procced your attack gold, then you get 20 plus 20, so you get the 40.
Yeah.
But if you already use your ability and then you smack them again, then you get a bonus 20 on
Psych
that.
Out's saying it already depends on the ability.
Well,
Renzo's hammer does not give you 40.
Really? No. I thought
If
might.
it doesn't, I mean, that's almost like an on-hit type ability, just about like
It is, yeah.
replaces-
Renzo's
it's
hammer
not-
gives you 20. I was gonna say I played it this week and it didn't give it only on the only auto attacks.
Okay, good.
Right clicks give you the 40 on melee. That's it.
He might. We might have read that wrong. He might not be saying that. He might just be reiterating what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because there's like a part of me where before a team fight occurs, I really just want to blink auto attack and then throw my ult just to get like that min max on gold. Be like, yeah, I got my money's worth. But then it wouldn't be worth at all because I used my
Yeah.
blink. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I understand the sentiment. Like, if you have to cast a spell and you can't activate your other ability, then it's like, okay, well, I've just wasted potential, and that's not a good feeling. You don't want your roll to feel bad.
Yeah, the only time I ever get 40 gold is when I face check a bush and hope the jungler is not there.
hmm
And then auto attack them and then back off.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, I just wanted your 40 gold. Peace. Don't hurt me.
Yeah, but definitely something for more options for melee attacks might help stem the tide back in the other. Guys, it seems so long ago we were complaining about Bruisergate, and now look, it's a land of squishy mages and ranged tacticians.
Yeah,
It's funny how
I
things
had-
change.
What if
was
he
on my
did something?
Smurf, and then I played as Kel, and I played against the Sakari, and I wanted to cry.
Yeah. It's
It
sad,
was-
man.
Yeah.
What if he did something different where it was abilities and auto attacks don't share the same activation cooldown?
Right.
So,
Yep. I
you know,
think that's what Tulsa was saying earlier. Is
oh,
that just
I missed it then. My bad.
yeah. I've
Oh,
heard
no,
that
it's
suggestion
similar.
a lot.
It's not exactly the same.
Oh yeah, but something along that vein definitely seems like a temporary improvement to the
Right.
playstyle. I mean the
Catch.
cynic in me makes me think that the win rates and Vim generation of melee tacticians is like in an acceptable range right now, and maybe that's why they're not changing it. I think from a playstyle perspective, that extra 40 is so hard to proc that I would even be okay with them finding a way to nerf melee so that, let's say it's 15, but you got the chance of getting 2, so it's like 30. I would even be okay with that if it just felt better to use.
I mean, you could also do something interesting. Dr. Harry said something. What if they did something like Gladiator? If you are melee, the time between your damage increases your Vim gold. I'm not sure exactly what he meant there, but it made me think like, well, what if you do land a melee, your Vim rate, your base Vim rate goes up by a small amount for a short period of time? Because everyone's right now is 60, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone gets 60 Vim per minute base, and then you get Spirit Wells on top of that. Like changing your base rate based on it instead of just a flat amount.
I feel like
Yeah.
that could make things confusing.
Yeah, I know. As I was saying it, I was slowing down, thinking, yeah, but that's just convoluted now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a nice passive buff like that is a good tweak for, say, a situation where, like, let's say they look at their numbers and they're like, melees are doing an okay job proccing, but they're just 5% behind or 10% behind the range guys. Like, a small tweak of 1 Vim per, like, minion dying might be good enough just to put them right into line. So if they can convey it in a non-confusing way, like I can certainly see a tweak like that being good for the health of melee tacticians.
Right.
So, yep.
Okay. So I mean
Fair.
that's kind of
So-
where we're at with all of that stuff. Beetle
Yeah,
Shaper. Hopefully he's a good lane melee tactician.
How did we get there? It was Beetle Shaper all along.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It
then
was
it went
supposed to
to
be
he
Beetle.
looks melee, and
Yeah,
then
and then that got me thinking about the melee
Yeah.
tactician
And
stuff.
rest in
Um,
peace, melee tacticians.
So what do you guys think? We'll see them a reveal on hopefully this Beetle Shaper next week.
Probably.
I
Eh.
I don't know.
Considering it's not a box man, they might be ready soon, but
Right.
1 week
Um,
might be too much. Too
They
early.
could
Yeah.
go for like a double
Another match.
hype moment. This
Or-
when is the because now moving on to our next topic, we have caster mode coming.
Yeah.
And there is a shoutcasted game tomorrow by Zwillan Pluto on the
linked to it.
Waystone Games channel at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. I can't do time math, but Muzzy's going to link it out. What if in the reveal of caster mode, they're like, oh, by the way, notice this person playing this shaper. He's going to be in the patch with caster mode, and you're getting this, all of this next patch. Like that would be
I
epic. It's been a while since we've had a big chunk of
That would
content
be-
all at once, and that would be really cool.
I would be very surprised if Beetlejuice or whatever you want to call
Beetlejuice
him
from this
was
point
not
on.
in the caster game tomorrow. I feel like that's the coy level of
Yeah.
leaks that they're putting out in this patch. The other thing is I could see much more. I could see them not putting him in the casting mode, doing a classic throwback Wednesday community catch up with with like the full shaper reveal and then a patch Thursday. So like, or
That would
I
be
guess,
awesome.
or I mean, worst case scenario, they do the caster mode reveal Friday, Monday, and then a patch.
Well, the caster mode
Tuesday.
reveal is basically tomorrow.
Right. So that it makes little sense for them not to put a patch out this week. Like I feel like if the
Yeah, and then the patch.
if
would
the
be
patch
on
wasn't this
Tuesday.
week, then the caster mode would be later. It would be like Friday or Monday. So I'm hopeful for it, sometime soon.
It's tough because at times, I mean, even when I used to play League all the time and when League was really putting out content left and right, in Season 1 and Season 2, it was like you would get on a cadence where it was like, this is the patch day, this is the reveal, da 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 da, and it's always come. And Waystone kind of had that little bit of a cadence for a while, where they were like revealing stuff on Friday, talking about the patch on Monday, then the patch would come in on Tuesday, and maybe they're just mixing up their cadence once again. But it's just tough because everybody gets so accustomed to it, and then they change it up on you. And now we're like, wait a minute, if they reveal it this day, then the patch can't be the next day. I don't know when things are coming out now.
It's tough.
So,
Hopefully.
Caster mode is coming, and it's very, very close, and we're going to see it tomorrow. I got to get my hands on it about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
It was awesome.
At the community, and this was like the roughest version of it possible. So clearly they've been working on it since then, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. They have their own, they're adding this camera thing that follows the action, which like something I didn't have when I got to play with it. So I'm interested to see how that works.
There's actually that's interesting to me.
The action cam.
Yeah, to see how it works compared to League of Legends Action Cam. Pardon my lack of Dota knowledge. I assume they have some sort of auto spectator.
They don't have an auto spectator.
They don't?
Nope.
Oh, well, that's embarrassing. But no, I just shit on Dota. Just
I'm actually really jealous of Dota. There's so much strategy in the game and so much depth, and then like you can run push strats, you can run like triple carry strats, you can run like so much stuff. You can run jungle, you can run no jungle, you can run stacks. Oh, there's so much in Dota. I love Dota.
Some of us aren't good enough to play Dota.
Yeah.
You don't have to be good in Dota.
Yes. Yes.
But anyway, we have so caster mode is coming. What do you guys? Well, I mean, what do you guys? I mean, this is one of those like great white whales that the community's been clamoring for. I mean, ourselves included. As kind of, a lot of the tournaments have pretty much just stopped happening until this comes out.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? Are we going to be inundated with tournaments for a week or a month and then nothing? Like, where do you guys? What do you guys think is going to happen?
I think if you and EGAD team up, it's game over. We're gonna have competitions within the year that are very, very big. I think having entertaining people to watch and high level players to watch will do it. And we have high enough level players, but I think that you two, not to boost your ego any more than it already is, but I think you two could really, I think that you two could really bring it home for sure. So
that would be cool.
See. Twerp and EGAD
at the World Finals.
You guys can also check out EGAD Shoutcast other games like CS:GO.
Yeah. But so I'm looking forward to that. So do we know, like, is this the release of it, or is this just the first stage release of it?
I feel like
do we have any?
I feel like it'll be fully released when the progression patch comes out.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm more pessimistic. I think this is like V1 fully functional, and we won't see any updates for it for quite some time.
Yeah, because I think the dream is to get to a point where they have a real caster mode where it's like spectator mode where like you click someone off of your friends list. We need a friends list that works first and foremost before we can get to this step. But where you can just kind of right click someone on your friends list, jump into the game they're playing, and watch them. Like that is that is the dream. I'm sure that we're not quite there yet, but hey, just having caster mode now will be such a blessing.
I do think that this is going to be the fully functional, like not perfectly, but like well done caster mode. Like that'll be it, and then spectator mode is like completely separate entity that should be coming. I don't know, like it. I don't feel like we need that feature ahead of, say, ranked progression update, better tutorials. I'm trying to think what else is like important.
What do you think would need an improvement on the tutorial?
Well, I don't know.
We can talk about that another time or after this, but what else do you think that we need first? Absolutely, besides
now that we've got caster mode out of that's basically like
mentor mode, but that's a version of caster mode. That's a child of caster mode.
We need to know what's happening with crafting currency. This would be my list. What's going on with crafting currency? When are we getting ranked mode? And the next one, I don't know what my third one is. My third one was casting mode. So right now, I want to know what's happening with crafting currency and ranked mode. Those are my next two.
Just to quickly dive into a question someone was asking, caster mode is caster slots in custom games that let you create a custom game with 12 players, 2 casters, 5v5. You get full map vision. There's an auto camera, and
No chat feature.
something. There was another bullet point, but it's basically like giving us the ability to cast tournaments, and that's why they're calling it casters mode. So you can't like join random games and spectate them. Like this is customs only, so it's specifically for the amateur and competitive professional world championship scene. So but yeah, back to your question, Twerp. I mean, ranked play is got to be a huge one for a lot of people.
That's got to be the next one, right?
But you can't really have ranked play because the population is so low. I imagine my queue is going from 10 minutes to 30.
Well, I feel like most of the people that you get matched with would probably want to play ranked mode. I think.
Anyone in your games told us you're not losing players in ranked. Like you're going to see the same people.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Like I'll just have the same 10 people on different sides of the team every single game, and I'm just like,
oh, my elo's so high. I only play with 10 people. Wow. I'm toast. I'm so good at the game. That's never going to change. You're always going to only play with a certain amount of people until the community gets so big that there's that many good players. The kicker.
I go like, I'm sick of this. I'm going to bed, and then the 9 people are like, fuck.
We can't play games anymore because we made Tulsa Rage quit.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be sad. And then when the next person comes up, then they'll get the game, and then one person decides to go to bed, and the same issue happens again.
I mean, you're talking about some like Occupy leaderboard street type stuff, like the 1% of people are having extremely long queue times, but that's still a problem in LoL. Like I watch PewDiePie streaming all day, and like watch him sit in 10-minute queues.
Yeah.
The nice thing, though, is at the end of that 10-minute queue, I mean, sometimes the games are shitty, but everyone is of equivalent matchmaking rating.
Yep.
And obviously, like, there's only a couple fakers in Dongate, and the rest of the guys you guys queue into are just like kind of along for the ride. But I don't know how you fix that other than, making more people play better.
I also game more.
I think some of it is a little behavioral. Like I've definitely been watching streams where they're like, "Who are these no names? Our team is so stacked," and then like you lose. But again, that's the same problem in LoL. From what I've heard, some of like the high Diamond 1 like 100 LP players, like if you're not a professional, everyone just assumes you're just some scrubby, even if your matchmaking rating is okay.
Yep.
So like, I'm not saying there's not a problem, but I think sometimes it's exaggerated. But they definitely gotta figure something out for those occasional games that do end up with some pretty wonky stuff. Like we still see the threads, right, on Reddit where it's like, look at these 5 diamond players playing against 5 wood players. Like, irregardless of the fact of their matchmaking rating could have put them in a game together, why are the established players on one team and the wood players on another? Like, why isn't it mixed and matched appropriately?
Yeah.
So I really liked RS Flux's post he did about a month ago where he like was like laying down the fucking law. He's like, here's all the shit, here's our stats. Like, and in general, things are pretty good. I'd like to see more of that, but like regularly. Like I want to see like this is how matchmaking looked this week, and when people make their posts, like look at this shitty game, I want to see like their breakdown and their explanations of what happened in that game so that we can understand. That's my community-facing request for the matchmaking engineering team.
And it's so awesome that they even entertain our little gripes about that, and they're like, oh no, well you wanted to know why this matchmaking game happened this way, well here's why it happened that way. Like that's so ridiculous that they actually take the time to do that for us. Like we're so spoiled as a community. Like one day this game will be so big they can't do stuff like that anymore. So these are the good times. This is the golden era.
I wish there was like a blackboard on the Waystone office, and it's like number of times Reddit has complained about matchmaking. Like, 1 slash. And they just keep going on.
Is another notch in the old belt.
Yeah.
What I would like, like to see, because what they did was a nice graph to like look at all the things that fall within 10 matchmaking rating of each other. We're the best. I'd kind of like to see them break down the edge cases and be like, hey, this is why this bad match actually happened, because the circumstances regarding this group queue and this this time of day and this population and like how the match was generated, because like I think that would be a much more interesting breakdown than everything is going well. Sorry about your luck that one time. That's what I would be interested in seeing. Like more breakdowns, more Excel graphs, like nice stuff. Also, the data stream would be really nice to have back.
Oh, getting that back so we can
Just
have
a
heat
little
maps.
side
I want
note.
heat maps. I want to get better and find out where I suck.
I want to feel the heat.
The majority of the map.
Have you seen what League of Legends is doing with their like website, their match history? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
steal that. I just want to
It's
steal it. I'm just, like,
beautiful.
and put that on our website.
It's beautiful. I saw that the other day. My brother was like, "Hey, check out this game I played," and I'm like, "Oh, League of Legends," and I clicked on it. I was like, "Holy shit! This is the coolest tool I've ever seen. I want this." So, yeah. Sad.
From the community though, I'd be curious. Like, I see all the time where people are like, "This Wood guy who has a 20-1 record was in my game. He shouldn't be in my game." But like,
Technically, he should.
the flip side of that is, how many times does that guy need to absolutely take a dumpster diarrhea poo on low elo players until like they're allowed to play medium and high elo players? Like,
Right.
that's the flip side. Like, the system is not going to be designed such that I'd be like, well, that guy shit on those guys again, but I don't know, maybe he's really bad. Let's really drill down, analyze his creep score, look at his map rotations, and bump him up 10 elo. Like that's I don't know how many times you have to shit on, and I apologize for using that word so many times, but like, how many times do you have to do really well before the community is going to accept that maybe you're not silver? So
I want an option where I don't see people's names.
that would actually be a nice feature.
Where you just have player 1, player 2.
No, just no name at all, just a HP bar.
Oh, so you just see like Reyna.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
And that way I won't judge you based off of your name. And then my expectations of you may go higher, but at least I have expectations that you will be willing to do some things.
The only problem with that is that then you won't be able to make friends very easily, because what are you gonna do? I want to friend that Reyna. And
yeah,
then,
at the end of the end game score screen, you just see their name at the very end.
That's where you see their names. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Someone in chat, I think Red Maid was kind of like saying about Smurf detection. I could definitely see if the system had a reasonable way of determining if someone's a brand new Dungate account versus a Smurf, and adjusting their what the fuck's the word, the reliability rating or the confidence rating, and be like, this guy's a Smurf, let's give him a high value and let him hit his elo quick. This guy's not a Smurf. He might have won 6 games in a row, but like, look at his stats. He's clearly not a Smurf. He's 13% below the average threshold of yada yada yada. Like really quick. Like, oh, his tactician rate proc was once every 13 seconds. That's pretty low. Stuff like that would be nice and mathematical, and wouldn't be too hard in theory to calculate. Maybe, I don't know the system, but better Smurf detection would allow them to make new accounts rise slower in theory.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of complex mathematical calculation behind that.
Yeah,
it's like gassy math going on.
I think people, I mean, they're using a modified Glicko 2. First of all, Glicko 2 is a modified version of Glicko 1, which is a modified version of Elo, and then they're modifying that all together. So there's some shit going on that we don't really understand, and for people to say it's bad, okay, fine, you can say it's bad, but can you say it's wrong? Can you say it's not doing it right? Can you say that it needs fixing? Technically, no. You can say that something doesn't feel right. It feels, why is this not working for me? It could be working perfectly, guys. And I've never tried to judge the MM as harshly as most people are doing it. I think people need to just relax about it.
Yeah, I mean the biggest problem seems to be new accounts rising too quickly. So that's
Right.
definitely where I'd focus my effort into.
Well, it
But
looks like
like
inexperience is getting into a higher tier just because they're winning enough
doing
games to
really
get
well,
into it. But
which
that doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be there. But it also doesn't mean that they do deserve to be there. So yeah, you have the split. You have the splitting of it where it's like, oh, let's say you have sub 50 games, you don't get to get out of bronze or silver or gold. But it's
doesn't
like
that suck though for all the bronze
that
players
sucks.
who lose?
Yeah, because then they're just going to get shit on even harder by the people who actually deserve it. So it's really like one of the hardest things that you can try to
Right.
critique if you're not a mathematician to take care of this kind of thing.
And again, I think it'd be really cool if they did a breakdown of like, hey, look at this player. He, like contact him, find him, be like, he came from League of Legends. He was Diamond 3. Let's look at the way his matchmaking rating moved over the first 50 games. Like that's the kind of information that'd be really interesting to me. And compare that to someone who, let's say, is a new MOBA player and, is good at games is like maybe silvery gold. Compare that to a Smurf. Like I'd love to know how those players move through the matchmaking system, and that would be a really cool blog post for them to do. Please.
That would be really interesting and a nice way for, again, like just to speak to their whole transparency thing. It's like, hey guys, you wondered how this kind of stuff works. Well, check out this cool stuff that we found. And yeah, I mean, more data is never a bad thing. I mean, it's how you interpret the data, but again, it can be molded in a way that's easily digestible for bozos like me who don't really understand all that hard math stuff and the numbers and what they all mean. But yeah, I think that's a really that would be a really cool thing.
Someone in Chat City talking about like a bot mode that would be a test, like a litmus test to your confidence rating. Diablo did that in their new patch with Greater Rifts. You have to play against like waves of enemies, and how good you do against them determines your initial seeding. I don't know if that's like a requirement long-term solution for matchmaking, but it's an interesting option.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm out of ideas. A lot of my ideas are like, wouldn't it be cool if you spent weeks doing this thing for me?
This one thing that I want.
Just devote your team to me,
Yeah,
nobody else.
if only we had
Screw all your plans that you had planned for.
I mean, that is how a lot of
ahead.
players treat MOBAs anyway, so I don't think that'd be too far from the norm, John. What
Yeah,
about
that's
me? What about my vote? I had a bad experience. Everything about this game is terrible because this one game out of 500 I played was bad.
True.
Accurate.
It's just it's a human nature thing. It's like in poker, you remember the bad beats way more than you remember that time you pulled the queen on the river card when you really needed it. Like it's just kind of how our brains are wired. Like that's it. It's so easy for us to focus on the
Every
negative
first win of the day bonus is 100 roll. Every loss is a 550.
Can I save my first win of the day bonus because I keep getting it at a bad time? No, that one's actually
want to
I
find
agree with.
every game. Every time I roll a 500, I want a shaper.
Yeah, if I don't if I don't roll divine every time.
I think
But-
people think they understand math, and then there are those who actually understand it. And
Yeah.
people are not humble enough to realize that you're just a player. You're not a game designer.
Yeah, but again, I played some games this weekend where like it was just really clear as like, well, this game's not like that. Something's up here. Like not that something's matchmaking up. It's like this guy's just not really that great. Like
Trying to
he's
get
you
philosophical
know,
here.
Yeah, but I
Right.
felt that way about people who are like 12-3. I'm like, wow, this guy's making the worst decisions. Then I'm like, but he's 12-3. So that's fully a perception thing, and that's what I'm saying.
That's
I think
normal because the best
Yeah.
example of that would be Fabi in League of Legends, where he is a mechanical god and he dumps his lanes, where he
Gatekeeper.
makes the poorest decisions in team fights possible.
yeah.
sounds. I do that. I do that pretty bad.
One of my pet peeves is people who like will never initiate into a fight and will always like only enter a fight when it's opportune for them.
Huh.
They'll get like 1 or 2 kills and not die, and their score will be like 2-0-2 in a game with like 40 kills. And that just grinds my gears. Like
It's
those-
pussyfooting.
right, yeah.
Those ceruleans who just hang back and wait to dunk in at the end. They're the worst kind of
Yo,
people.
that's me.
God. The dunksters.
I love playing Cerulean.
He's the best. I played a game with Muzzy beforehand, and I was just like, this just
Such a
feels.
good game.
It feels so right. It just feels so right, saving your life by flipping away the Basco chasing you.
Every
just-
time. Oh, so good.
I
Twerp.
played Cerulean once this week. It was interesting.
Hello, Surin. He's the best.
What a- You know what I've actually been playing a lot of though is Jungle Desecrator. That's my
I
new
still have
hotness.
yet to do that, and I keep meaning to try it every time
It's
I jungle,
so
and I don't do it.
good. It's solo queue. I
Good
don't
now.
like his double CC is like I don't know. I've just been having a blast. I didn't lose a single game this week on it. It was fun. But I'm also I rarely jungle, so it's just like I like to do the hipster AP jungle Mordekaiser stuff. So like haste desecrator jungle just felt right to me. It felt like just bad enough to work.
Just
It was
bad
good.
enough to work.
Exactly.
All right, so as we kind of wind down here in the show, just going to kind of cover, so we'll open it up to kind of the chat now, whatever you guys want to talk about. We can get into that. In the meantime, we just got some little housekeeping things to take care of. Battle in the bot lane is returning this week, hopefully with caster mode. If it is out in time for Battle in the bot lane, we will be using it. If it's not, we'll just continue the way we've been doing it. But it'll be myself casting, and EGAD is going to be joining me once again to do the casting.
Nice.
So we'll have the dynamic duo for you guys once again. Last battle in the bot lane was really good with me and him. So this week, hopefully, if we have caster mode, it will be like the most dope sauce. So that's the deal with that. You can sign up on MOBA Champion for that when John gets signups for it. If you're not familiar, Battle in the Bot Lane is a 2-on-2 tournament played in the bot lane, oddly enough. That the win conditions are first team to 100 CS, first team to destroy the enemy team's binding, or first team to 2 kills, and all that. It's pretty fun. We do it on the Waystone stream, and so if you guys want to come check that out or sign up, the more the merrier. So be sure to be around for that. That will be this Friday at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on the Waystone channel.
Cool. More housekeeping. Sakari Guide Contest winners will be announced either tonight or tomorrow morning. We're processing those. And a lot of people were asking in chat when we were getting updated art for the live cast. So the artist, Alex Rosario / Sepiatros, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, did provide some new art. So I'm going to throw that in chat there. You can follow her on Twitter here. And on Twitch.
Look at that sundress, Tulse.
Oh, such a sundress.
Damn.
Let me see if I can.
So that's that. We got 2 guys in girls' clothing and 2 guys in armored clothing. It's good. It's good.
John, purple's your color, man.
It truly.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of look like Lee Sin with Asheville fans, so I'm kind of
He's like ready to attack. That's like he's like in the middle of stance dancing right there.
My favorite part about that is the shoes that Tulsa's wearing in the picture. They're very cute.
Oh, look at that!
I didn't even see. Oh,
So
Tulsa.
yeah, we're totally gonna
Yeah.
get that incorporated in the overlay for next week because Spinal, who
We should
Rest
just
in
have
peace, Spinal.
like put like opacity to like 99% and just put it like
You have a little ghost Spinal in the background.
An homage to our the one lost. Yeah.
The lost member of the Money Pigs.
right.
yeah,
That's great.
we'll have to commission a.
We'll have to put BDNA in there too then.
A best divs and A and a Suji style as well.
Both,
Yes.
yeah, all 3 of them like the Star Wars style, the holograms or whatever.
I feel like BDNA would either be Mina or Renzo. Or was it Reyna that he played a lot of? It was one of
I
them.
always thought of it as just Amaranth because you guys used to run that lore lane. That
I just remember
Cerulean
double
Amaranth.
jungle with Twerp and
Yeah.
Mina Faris double jungle. Yeah, it was really fun
Yeah.
too.
True.
so good. He needs some rouge.
Some rouge. Also, so you guys need it. We could send him back. Yeah, send him back. Send him back. No, keep him. I'm sure he likes working there, and it's like better for his career to be working with you guys rather than being on the Money Pig show. But yeah, you guys can keep Spinal for now. I like Tulse. I don't want to get rid of Tulse, so it's too late. You've been replaced, Spinal.
Damn. the wound is too deep there, Spinal. You cut it too deep. It's not healing.
Still fresh. Still fresh. Other than that, oh boy, did we unearth some gems earlier tonight on the Blue Muzzy stream.
Time to go.
No,
All right,
no,
guys,
no, no,
thanks for
no.
stopping by.
Muzzy needs to hang out. For those of you who don't know, Muzzy is a flippy cat in his off time. Here we go. You guys, I'm just gonna paste this playlist right here. And my favorite thing
Damn it.
in these
The
videos,
hard look is
the first video after Muzzy does his, and okay, that's the thing. Like Muzzy's doing all these crazy flips and stuff, and I wanted to laugh at him and be like, "Oh, look how crap this is." But like the thing that pisses me off is he's like really good at it, and when he does all these moves, I'm like, "Damn, Muzzy, like you actually did, like that looks legit, dude. Like you are doing you're doing your thing." But when he gives the camera the hard look at the end of the first video, I just lost it. That was hard look at the camera like, yeah, that's right. I just did that. You saw that? Did you get that? Because it just happened. But Muzzy, you are so agile. I must say, it's so impressive. Look at him float through the air. He's like dibs and reverie. Oh, that hard look.
It's like dim.
That hard look. He's like doing aerials and moon kicks and shit, and I'm just like, damn. Muzzy got some skills.
He's also got some abs in video
Ooh,
number.
shirtless Muzzy.
Video
I'm just like,
number.
enhance.
Shit,
Oh.
which one is it? I think it's video number 4, number 3.
Yeah, people. For those of you out there with GIF capabilities, if you're good at that,
No.
That's video
please
4.
GIF all of these videos and send them to me. Because I want them in a personal library that I can spam wherever need fit. Because that
And if anybody else can do it, please test me. You guys do it. We'll have a flip off. We'll do that.
Oh.
crazy Ralph Macchio. But that was a nice little fun, a fun discovery we made on Muzzy's stream before Money Pigs tonight. Other than that, I do have some. I've got 2 more Nisa skin codes to give away, so I might as well give them away now. So I'll let you guys talks amongst yourselves while I get these figured out. Now that I see his name in chat, Dark Matter Gun. Oh, another one of the. Let me find your. He got a tattoo that was really, really sick. Where is it on Twitter? I have to find it.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's like a samurai dude with the Dawn Gate flag in there. Oh, where is it?
Master Yi confirmed in Dongate. Just saying.
Yeah, right?
I would love to play him. He's basically Kindred though. So.
I don't know how to find it. No. Well, Dark Matter Gun, just link it yourself. I'll permit you. Permit.
Yeah, if you don't have Nisa and you redeem the skin code, you get 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, you do.
Such value only found here on moneypigslivecast.com.
God damn it.
Oh, look at that hard look. Yeah, Gasty. That's glorious. The hard look at the end. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did that. You see that? Yeah, that's right. I'm not good.
Wow.
I'm
boys.
so tempted to purge Gasty, but I think that I can't do it.
Oh, that's so amazing. That is so amazing. All right, so I'm going to go into the giveaway.
Dude,
Yes.
you should just
Meter.
make that your subscriber sound, and then when you get a subscriber, your guy looks like.
Dude, that would. I would just subscribe over and over again just to see it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do a random active user giveaway for the Nisa skin code. Oh, I wish
dude,
Nightbot
it's
had
not
that one where
recording.
they could like enter themselves. That's Magi Bot that does that, where you do like enter yourself into the raffle.
It's Moobot.
Or Moobot. I gotta get Moobot. Or
Actually, if you have
Moobot.
Nightbot, you can do it. No, actually, that's something different. But you guys don't have it on.
Wham, wham. All right, so we got to do random active user. So make sure you're following the channel, or else I'm gonna ridicule you live on stream for not following, and you're not gonna get this code if you win. So
Like-
give everyone a minute here to follow along, if you're not already. And then we're not doing random numbers. Stop typing numbers, or I will kill you. I will kill you all. I just invited it to happen now more, didn't I? Yeah, now everyone's spamming raffle. Good. I hate you all. I hate you all so much. So much. Well, now you're gonna miss it when some. So good. I hope you're all happy. Flux, I don't
RS
think
Flux.
I don't think you
Wow.
you need the Nisa skin code, friend. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll again.
No, wait. He might.
Really?
He might.
Yeah.
I
because
really don't
they
think he needs it.
Not everybody at the studio gets stuff. Like they did not get the.
Yeah, but
the
dude, when we went
Lords.
to Germany, they had like stacks of
Stacks.
cards for
Maybe
Idol on
he was a
Nisa.
fool and
There's
didn't
no
grab
way Flux didn't get it. Flux,
You
if you
should
do
ask him.
want it,
You should ask him.
if you want Idol on Nisa
I'm
skin
so
code,
happy
you
I
can have
won.
one.
See, RS Flux says I'm so happy I won.
RS Flux has direct database access. He's got all this.
Have you
skins.
changed this from a 0 to a 1?
They
Yeah,
get all
really,
the-
he doesn't need
Yeah.
it. Yeah, Flux got. Paradoxic says he can hook it up for him. So Dom Jacka, if you don't have an Idol, well, either if you don't have, you've won. Dom Jack.
Oh, Gassy says it's achievement content they have to unlock for themselves, but not money content. Which makes sense because like they should have to experience all the blazing type stuff. Like it'd be really shitty if they were like, oh yeah, blazing 40 games in 12 hours, of course, whatever, I got it.
I'll just not work for it.
Amber says Domjika has the skin into reroll.
Oh.
And he actually said that in chat, just above.
My bad. All right, Dom
Yeah.
Jacka. Well, you get a
Thanks for being honest.
thumbs up from me at least. We're gonna go again. Roll again. Bang Doll. Bang Doll, do you have Idol on Nisa? Would you like Idol on Nisa? Because I can give you Idol on Nisa. And you've
Yep.
technically won Idol on Nisa.
Bang Doll's a
Laser
stand-up
beams.
guy. Or girl, I guess I really don't know.
It's a guy.
Where?
Well, I'm gonna send you the code anyway until you respond otherwise. If someone else sees that person respond and he says he doesn't want it, he doesn't get it. But if not, I'm just gonna keep doing this.
Who's Souse? Why don't I know this?
Saucy? He's a legal
Saucy.
season 1 pro.
Duh. When you say Saucy, now I know. I'm like Souse. What's that?
Yep.
That is the
Trevor Saucy.
Isn't that an ex-professional League of
He
Legends
was
player?
on Epic Gamer.
Yeah, yeah, he's playing
Yeah.
some DG right now. Thanks,
Oh, he's
Sousy.
streaming?
Sauce is playing?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
playing
Saucy.
DG.
Damn.
Oh.
Trevor.
That guy was the shit.
I
You know
love.
what we
I
should
was
do?
in. Sauce
We
was one of my
should
favorite
host his
players back
channel.
in the day.
We should host his channel when we're done.
He's like, what? I got 100 viewers? Oh, I have
Yeah.
500 already. What is this?
Yeah.
All right, I got one more code to give away here. I sent it to you in a message, Bang Doll, so you should get it. If not, let me know, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, the skin does unlock Nisa if you don't have her. Rolling again. Make sure you're following the channel, and here we go.
Holy crap! He's
God damn it! I
14
won it again.
Dude,
Didn't I win
he's
last week?
He's
My
14
own-
and 4 with Sakari. Oh Jesus!
Did you see that stasis on the Sicario?
Holy-
Dogbert, you actually win. So
Dogbert Link.
Wait, wow.
I won my own
Like-
code again.
Oh, they're responding to that still. That's funny because he just said rigged right after he won.
Yeah.
In your story, he said wow again. I guess he's already got a key. Time to re-roll. Oh, is that Glycitrol in their chat too? I think that's a League of Legends moderator.
Who's the troll? He's like on Surrender 20, one of the article writers.
Oh, that's right.
All right, Dogbert, there's your Nisa skin code for you, friend.
Is it bad that I've been along in like MOBAs so much that I know like every single dude and what they do in League?
That's just passion.
Showing my age.
Who are you cheering for Worlds?
Worlds? I want EDG to go big.
Edward Gaming.
I watched their game. It's so ham. It's like no cheese, just ham.
Okay.
I
The
prefer a little
carry
ham.
Name is so good.
All right, that's it. No more giveaways. You're all done. That's it. Got no more codes. They're all dead now. I remember
Honestly,
Nisa codes,
Kaboom.
but they're all dead
Kaboom
now.
Esports. Like a big upset.
Other than that, do we have anything else we need to cover this evening?
Nope.
No?
Just saying bye.
Yeah, just saying bye. Speaking of the League of Legends and the World stuff, did you watch the Road to Worlds little 20-minute
Oh my
Dude,
Yeah.
those are so well produced. Like
BB,
Oh.
I cry. I
Dude.
cry every time.
dude, that was so well done. Like I
Yeah.
dream of the day we get a Dawn Gate retrospective like that. Like seeing how far leagues come in just like esports
I
in
want a
general.
documentary on Scrag and his struggles of having to get off of LAN and go back to the bathroom, to the bunk, and run back to the LAN stage.
The VOB gaming house in Sims 4.
Sims 4? Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's no, that was quite the video today.
Yeah,
Maybe
Dogbert,
it's-
you'll get it in a
it's-
Twitch message. It should have sent it to you.
Check your spam folder on Twitch. Twitch is
Yeah, the
they're
other
pretty
folder.
shit at filtering messages like. So everything goes to your spam folder. Everything. I've never gotten a real message. Everything just goes to my spam folder.
I
Other
know. Check other. Always
You
check
have
other.
one RT. Click this link to redeem 9,000 riot points.
Yeah.
That's a lot of riot points.
It is.
All right, so that's pretty much going to wrap up Money Pigs Livecast episode number 65. Thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to go watch or follow all of us on our respective Twitter handles and Twitch channels. All of us are members of Team Waystone, so it's pretty cool. You can find us all in one spot. Other than that, in the meantime, make sure you check out Battle in the Bot Lane this Friday. I guess we're all going to go... Who are we all going to go watch now? We're going to go watch Sal's? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to welcome to the Dawngate community?
Watch
Sounds
Sounds
Salsi.
good.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
everyone go
yeah.
check out Sal's and welcome him to Dawngate. Make him stay. He's a good league player who I would like to be playing Dawngate. I like good players, and I like good players to be playing Dawngate. That would be the dream. More of that. So
More of them in your games. That's what you want.
That's right.
Basically.
Yep.
that is right. So that being said, this is gonna be it for us. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Take care, bozos.
See.